UFC 130 is in the books, and we're here to break it down. I'm Prim Saripapat with your MMA Live Extra. Quentin Rampage Jackson entered UFC 130 on the brink of a title shot, but many question how motivated the former champ would be to fight Matt Hamill. Jackson proved up to the challenge, outlanding Hamill for the better part of 3 rounds to take a decision. For more on Jackson's win, we bring in ESPN MMA insider Brett Okamoto. So Brett, what did you make of Rampage's performance on Saturday, and do you think Bones Jones is next?
Listen, I was impressed by Rampage's performance over the weekend. Some people thought that the main event was a little dull. If that was the case, it was only because Rampage basically dominated the fight from start to finish. I mean, he was facing a tough guy in Matt Hamill, a guy who was looking at this fight as one of the biggest opportunities of his career, and really Matt Hamill had nothing against Rampage. He couldn't take him to the ground and really couldn't touch him on the feet. So I looked at it as a good performance on Rampage's part, and as far as what's next for him, I think it is Jon Jones. It seemed pretty clear to me leading up to the fight that the UFC's plans was to place Rampage in line for that title shot against Jon Jones if he beat Matt Hamill. Now, that is dependent on how healthy he is. He did say that he had fractured his hand before the Matt Hamill fight. Who knows if he furthered that injury during the fight? And also, he was limping after the press conference on Saturday. Who knows if that was soreness or if it was a hint of something more serious. But if Rampage is 100% healthy, I do expect that he will go against Jon Jones, and that fight would happen in the fall.
Now, if you want to read more on Brett's thoughts on Jackson, you can check out his article on ESPN.com. Now, the co-main event featured another former champion looking to return to the top, as Frank Mir dominated Roy Nelson for 3 rounds to earn a decision victory. A huge win for Mir, who now puts himself firmly back in title contention. Josh Groves has more on Mir's big win at UFC 130.
Frank Mir helped himself quite a bit on Saturday, defeating Roy Nelson handily by decision. It was the kind of performance that reminded us how good he is technically when he's matched against someone who doesn't overwhelm him physically. That's always been the question with Frank Mir, the size, the general heft of the heavyweight division, and the monsters that he faces there, particularly in the UFC. Against someone like Nelson, who is big, obviously, but not a giant like a Shane Carwin or a Brock Lesnar, Mir was able to dance around and move and show the skills that make him so good and won him a championship at one point. But the question is, can he do that against the upper part of the division, the heavier part of the division, or even someone like a young Cain Velasquez who currently holds the belt? I'm not so sure. I think we've seen the best of Frank Mir. We know what he's capable of, but what he's capable of may not be the kind of thing that can drive him to the top of the division again, especially as you're considering the influx of talent that may come in 2012 when you talk about the fighters in the Strikeforce heavyweight division. But as it stands now, he's probably 4th in line for a title shot. Considering his marketability in the UFC, he's always going to be someone who they look to hold a promotion down. The question is, can he win the fight when he's in that promotion? And I think we still have questions about that.
So Josh gave Frank a B+ for his performance at UFC 130. And if you want to see how he graded the rest of the fighters, you can check out his report card on ESPN.com. And if you thought the UFC was done, you can think again. Another busy weekend lies ahead for MMA's biggest brand. The Ultimate Fighter finale takes place this Saturday in Sin City. The main event features the ever-popular Clay Guida against the last WEC lightweight champion, Anthony Pettis. For more on this important lightweight clash, let's send it over to Franklin McNeil.
The lightweight clash between Anthony Pettis and Clay Guida on the surface doesn't seem like a mega fight, but it does have major implications in the 155-pound division. For Pettis, a win puts him right on the doorsteps of a title shot against the Frankie Edgar and Gray Maynard winner. For Guida, it keeps him relevant. He's on a 3-fight win streak, and he would like to extend that. But he'd also like to make a statement in the sense that he doesn't believe Pettis has paid his dues. This is his opportunity to show that he is one of the top guys, and he's going in there looking for a finish on Saturday night.
Well, if you want to see where Guida and Pettis stand in our lightweight rankings, you can check out the brand new ESPN Power Rankings on Wednesday. And who doesn't want full highlights and analysis from UFC 130 and a full look ahead to the Ultimate Fighter finale? MMA Live comes at you Friday night at 1 a.m. Eastern. And if you missed that or don't have a DVR, the show will repeat at 4:30 a.m. Eastern. That's going to do it for the MMA Live Extra. I'm Prim Saripapat. We'll see you guys on Friday.